Good morning, Mr. Bondovich. We'll be with you in just a moment. We've got 3 Walnut Meadows cases, and Mr. Lance Thornton is here on behalf of the complex. Their manager, Shelley, is here. And Lance, again, I greatly appreciate you sending me those judgments and the breakdown sheets. It makes it easier for all concerned. You and John Bush and a couple others do it. Wish everybody did. So thank you for that. Now let's take up our first matter, which is Walnut Meadows Apartments versus Terrell Bondovich. Now, when I was a kid, that's how we said it, Bondovich. How do you say it?
Bondovich.
All right, some would say Bondarovich or anyway. Good morning to you, sir. This is file number 221523. This is a non-payment of rent case. Your landlord alleges that you're $3,410 behind on your rent. As a defendant in a landlord-tenant proceeding, including a non-payment of rent case like this, you have certain rights as a tenant, and the law requires that I advise you of those rights. You have the right to obtain counsel for representation in this matter. If you cannot afford an attorney, a legal aid attorney may be available to help you. You have a right to a trial by a jury or by the court. Just judge. If the action is for non-payment of rent and you are eligible for some assistance, you may not need a judgment. The summons and complaint, which you've already received, may be sufficient. However, most of the emergency housing funds have run out, which is why we're in the shape we're in. If the plaintiff is agreeable, the Citizens Mediation Services, Inc. may be available as a possible source of case resolution. If both parties are agreeable to mediation, the court can help set that up. If you do reach an agreement with the plaintiff and a consent judgment is entered by the court, you would waive the rights listed above but have the following additional rights. The judgment could not be enforced until 3 business days had passed. You could move to set aside the judgment within those 3 business days if you misunderstood what you consented to or what you were waiving. Your motion to set aside the judgment could then be set before a judge, namely me, for a further hearing, but if I did not rule in your favor, the original judgment would stand. Now, Mr. Thorne has given me a breakdown indicating that you paid part of August's rent and it's delinquent for September, October, November, December, plus late fees, which is $3,410. There's a city inspection fee and a miscellaneous fee, which is $115, and court costs of $169.68, which is a total of $3,694.68. So you haven't been able to pay your full rent since July. What's your position, Mr. Bondovich? Do you wish to stay there or do you wish to move?
Well, I wish to stay here. I did make a payment this morning because I got paid this morning of $485 that came off of it. And then I think 2 days ago, my wife paid $290 to try to bring it down a little bit. We're still seeking, but we haven't heard anything back from assistance yet to see if they can help us out.
Are you paid $290 2 days ago and $495 this morning?
This morning, yeah, when I got paid. It should have cleared at least 1 month, I think, off.
All right, well, that's admirable. The law requires that I set this for another hearing, at least 7 days from today. So let me reopen that. I had it open and it kicked me out when the power went out. We may get a little jammed up at Christmas time. We're gonna miss a lot of Fridays and Mondays. We'll be gone the 23rd and 26th. But next Friday is the 16th of December. And let's see, Lance.
I'm available on the 16th, Your Honor.
Yeah, I don't have anything for you. Let's go with 10:15. Does that work for you?
Yes.
And I don't know, Shelley, had those payments been reflected in your numbers?
Not in the numbers that we turned into you, but I did see the payment of $290 that cleared on the 6th, which would have been 2 days, well, 3 days ago now. But if
So
he
that
just made a
will-
payment this morning, it's not going to show yet.
So that reduces the amount by about $700. So we're going to adjourn this for 7 days, which is to next Friday at 10:15. Then the good part is we won't be in a new rental month, so we'll still be in December. So the numbers shouldn't change. But if they get what they asked for, I would give you 10 days from that day to pay your rent or be subject to being evicted. They don't have to evict you on that 10th day. That would be December 26th. They can agree to work with you to get caught up on the rent. The fact that you're making payments does show some good faith on your part. Did you lose your job or something in this interim period here?
What's happened is I work in the RV industry, so ever since July and the gas prices spiked up, they cut back how many days we work and our hours we work. So I've only been working 3 days a week, 3 weeks a month. So I have a whole week where I'm not getting paid every month, and I'm only working 3 days a week since. So
Yeah,
I've been
that's
trying to
rough.
seek.
Now,
I've been
where
try-
did you, go ahead. You're trying to get some emergency help?
I've been trying to get emergency help since we got the eviction notice because we haven't actually been able to apply for it since we got the notice in the mail. And then I've been trying to find part-time work since then, but I haven't had much luck doing that. But I also just found out that when we go on break for holiday for my work, that I won't have any work for a month. So I'll be seeking new employment. So from our shutdown for New Year's, I won't have any work till the 22nd of January.
What's your shop?
I work at Jayco RV Industries in Middlebury, Indiana.
You know, there's always a boom or bust cycle with that RV industry, and I hear this every year for years. But the problem for you is it's a tough one. You got to pay your rent, and there's no white knight coming in anymore to pay the rent. So I'm sure you got to eat and put gas in your car and pay electric bills and buy clothes for your kids and all that sort of thing. But
Yep.
underlying it all is your rent. So let's see, at some point you may have to make a decision to move. But I would encourage you to stay in contact with Shelley. And we'll talk about this further next Friday by Zoom like this at 10:15. Are you missing work right now or are you not working today?
I'm not missing work right now. As of right now, only working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays. I have off for another week. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
then I'll
hard
be off for the holidays.
to pay your bills. All right, I will see you next Friday at 10:15, all right?
Okay.
All right, good luck, sir. All right, that's a tough gig, trying to pay your bills when your company pays you and then they don't. And trying to make do on 6 days a month of work. Ms. Keckler, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Can you turn your screen on? All right, she's 9:20. Miss Perez is 9:10, so she's not here. Let me check something. Oh, another thing that kicked me out. You hear I had a prelim on Tuesday on a criminal charge. I want to make sure she's not in custody, so give me just a minute.
I saw her yesterday.
All right, and then I didn't think she was in custody, but I had this.
She was in the process of moving out when I left the property yesterday.
All right, well, she's not here now. We'll take care of this lady, then we'll come back to that one. Have you got a waiting list?
Yes,
How long is it?
I probably have about 10 different people waiting to move in.
Yes, every complex I talk to has got a waiting list. So
I had a guy tell me yesterday that everybody he's went to tells them 9 months to a year.
Yes, it's tough right now. But it's good. I like to talk to different managers and see what's going on at their place and get a bigger picture of what's going on in the county. And the picture is there's not enough affordable housing or housing, period. I read an article that says when people start to become climate refugees, meaning it gets too hot in California and Texas and Florida, and shorelines recede, Michigan is going to be the prime place to go. We don't have enough housing for the people we have here now.
Right.
So let's talk to Jasmine Keckler. Ms. Keckler, can you hear me?
Yes.
The law requires that I advise you of your rights. The title of this case is Walnut Meadows Apartments versus Jasmine Keckler. 221525 LT is the file number. Mr. Lance Thornton is here on behalf of the complex, and Shelley, your manager, is also here. Ms. Keckler, as a defendant in a landlord-tenant proceeding, including non-payment of rent, which is what this is, you have the following legal rights. You have the right to obtain counsel for representation in this matter. If you cannot afford an attorney, a legal aid attorney may be available to help you. You have a right to a trial by a jury or by the court. If the action is for non-payment of rent and you are eligible for any services or assistance, you may not need a judgment. The summons and complaint are sufficient, and you've already been served with that. If the plaintiff is agreeable, the Citizens Mediation Services, Inc. may be available as a possible source of case resolution. If the parties are interested, the court can set that up. If you do reach an agreement with the plaintiff and a consent judgment is entered by the court, you would waive the rights listed above but have the following additional rights. The judgment could not be enforced until 3 business days had passed. You could move to set aside the judgment within those 3 days if you misunderstood what you consented to or what you were waiving. Your motion to set aside the judgment would be set for a landlord-tenant hearing. However, if the judge did not find in your favor, the original judgment would stand. Now, they allege that you haven't paid full rent since June. July, August, September, October, November, December, plus late fees and court costs for a total of $4,559.68. What's your position, Ms. Keckler? Do you wish to stay there or do you plan to move?
As soon as I got the paper in the mail, I did contact Keystone. I am currently working with them to hopefully get help because like Shelley stated, there's waiting lists everywhere. There's not sufficient housing anywhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's right there. My kids' school is right there and it's not so bad to be here now. It wasn't that great this past summer.
Well, how come you haven't been able to pay your rent since June?
I had some medical stuff come up and I had to have some like extensive testing and stuff done to make sure that I was like healthy for my kids and stuff. And then I actually just got a raise at work. I wasn't bringing home enough.
I'm sorry, you're on mute, Jasmine.
Also,
Well, we're back to the good old days or the bad old days where you either pay your rent or move. There is no emergency Sarah housing funding. And you haven't paid your rent since June. And now you're $5,500 behind. And they've got 9 other people waiting to move in. So you're in a tough spot. Have you actually talked to someone from Keystone?
yes, I've been talking to Becky Smith.
Okay, good. It says, and all others. Who else lives there?
Me and my 4 children.
Yeah, this is a rough deal. But you're on the precipice of being asked to move, as in evicted, where the sheriff comes and puts all your stuff out on the street. The law requires that I adjourn this. Hopefully Keystone's going to come in and help. The only thing that will solve this is paying the entire arrearage. Have you been in contact with Shelley about what's going on with your circumstance?
No, I haven't.
Well, that's not good. So you just wait 6 months for the eviction order to show up. They served a notice to quit on you some time ago, but yeah, where the clock is ticking. We're gonna continue this to next Friday, December 16th, 2022 at 10:25. Does that work for you, Lance?
It does.
Jasmine, I don't know what to say. I would certainly stay in contact with Shelley, and I would try to light a fire under Keystone. They had lots of federal money, and we spent lots of money. We spent millions of dollars helping landlords and tenants with the emergency COVID funding, but it's all run out, and they haven't authorized anything to replace it. And so people got used to having some rescue money come in and it's gone. So keep that in mind, that ultimately they could ask you to move on December 26th. So let's see how things go when I see you next week at 10:25. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about Walnut Meadows versus Yahira Valentin Perez. This is file 221524. The arrearage is $4,639. We were inquiring earlier, this was set for 9:10 and she's not here. It's now 9:22. Shelley, the manager, indicated it appears that she was moving yesterday and she's not here today. Lance, what do you know about this one?
It looks like we have, service by attachment. I'm not aware of any other changes other than what you stated.
Well, she's not in jail. I can't do a default because we have service by attachment. Otherwise, I just give her your judgment, but it sounds like she's moving. So you're gonna be here next Friday anyway. Let's set it in between the last 2 cases. I'll set it for Friday, the 16th at 10:20. Shelley, if she's turned in the keys and giving her forwarding address, let Lance know. We can always cancel it. If she
Right.
does not, we'll have this next Friday morning and be prepared to do a default. And take care of it then. All right, Lance, I'll see you next week.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Bye.
Happy Friday, Lance.
Yeah, you too, Matt.
All right, we did our first 3 cases. We're just about on schedule. I've got 2 people here, and I need to figure out who they are. I've got Samsung, the lady with the go away shirt. What's your name?
Bobby Stamper.
I'll give you a name.
That would be EML Holdings against Stamper.
Yes. She was here last week.
She paid up, Your Honor. We're moving
All right, well,
to.
hold up. We're not there yet. I'm trying to get everybody identified.
I'm
I've got TCLA3. Which case are you here on, ma'am?
Carrie.
What's your name?
Carrie Morgan.
All right.
Hi.
Is Mr. Wonders there with you?
Yep, I'm here, sir.
All right, let me give you names. When I was in high school, I took a class called personal typing. Just barely after the manual typewriter era. Miss Magner would not be very proud of my typing skills, but I did learn to type when I was in high school and typed through college and law school, but I'm not very good at it. But now we're all keyboarders. All right, well, let's start with our Emma Holdings versus Bobby Stamper. This is file 221478. That is set for 9/25, and it is 9/25. Mr. Matthew Davidson is here on behalf of the plaintiff. We learned last week that the arrearage was $2,003.71, and that the defendant was going to try to get caught up on the rent. Ms. Stamper, what's the status here today?
I paid him in full.
That's correct, Your Honor. We move to dismiss.
Matt was trying to tell me that, but I had to get everybody lined up. All right, this is the best kind.
And thank you, Bobby.
Thank you.
All right. Dismissed. Defendant has paid in full. All right, Ms. Stamper, you're good to go. Hopefully you'll be squared away through the rest of the next year. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Happy Friday, Your Honor.
All right. Well, that's good news for you and your client and for her. All right. You're good to go. Thanks.
See ya.
See you around. All right, Mr. Wonders and Miss Morgan, I'm gonna take a minute here and advise you of your rights as tenants in a landlord-tenant proceeding. Here comes Miss Richmond. This is gonna take care of itself. The last
Right.
couple of cases we did, Miss Richmond, you logged in a little later. The people were in arrearage since June or July. and they owe 5,000, 4,600, and they're in so deep they can't catch up. You file them earlier. Of course, there's still some time lag built into the system, but it sounds like the Morgans are on top of this and you're going to get this worked out.
But yeah, we're trying.
Mr. Wonders. I need to adjourn this for 7 days.
What for?
Well, the law requires that I give you 7 days to get legal advice or try to get some emergency assistance. So I'm gonna, unless you want me to just enter the judgment now.
No, I'd rather talk to Terry.
All right, I'm gonna
Keep moving
continue
with
this to December 16th, 2022 at 10:35.
All right.
Now, I encourage you to talk to your landlord. The good thing is we're going to still be in the same rental period. If we're on the cusp of a month, it goes to the next month, but yours is bi-weekly or weekly?
Weekly.
All right, so it'll go up week to week, but by next Friday, it should be close to the same amount. But it sounds like you paid on this and you plan on, you're not too far behind.
Right.
Yeah, so are you both employed?
No, just me.
All right. All right, you've done what I've already encouraged you to do, which is stay in contact with your landlord, get situated. Now, here's how it works. We would have a hearing next Friday by Zoom like this, just like you did this morning. And if
Right.
they get what they ask for, I would give you 10 days to pay the rent or be subject to being evicted.
All right.
And so it will be somewhere in the same range of this, probably add another week or add another week. Anyway, it sounds like you're working on getting caught up. Then I would give you till December 26th to pay the rent or move out. And even then, the Richmonds could agree to give you more time than that, up to 56 days. It's easier for a landlord to keep a good tenant in there than to move one out and move another one in. So
Right.
there is some benefit to trying to help tenants get caught up. The other benefit is you're not very far behind.
Right.
So I think this is going to work out.
I hope so. Just seems like it's gonna be in her. We talked it out pretty good yesterday.
All right, very good. All right, I'll see you both, all three of you, next Friday morning at 10:35, unless you pay it all off. Like
Right.
the one you just did, they came in, but if you pay it all off, let Miss Richmond know, she can cancel the hearing. But
Okay.
unless that happens, you need to be back here next Friday at 10:35.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you at 10:30.
All right. Bye.
Bye, Randy.
Bye. Ouch. Oh, my leg.
All right, he hurt himself. All right, our next matter, I don't think anyone's going to show up.
Hey, how you doing?
Good morning. You're not set for a while yet. If he does show up early, I'll bring him in and put you guys in the breakout room. Then you
Okay,
got 2 cases after that, so I'll just put you in the waiting room and be with you in a bit.
okay.
He's not set till 10, just 22 minutes from now. All right, it's 9:42. Our 9:40 case is entitled Melissa Cole versus Antoine Cottrell. File number is 221576. This case was filed, a notice to quit was served, and I don't believe the defendant was ever served. The notice to quit was October 21st. Sergeant Morris went out to serve service. I did not find any cookies in my quest, but we're back. Miss Welborn, can you hear me yet? Miss Wilbur?
Yes, I can, Your Honor.
You can hear me, and we'll see if we can get the defendant in. Miss Wilbur, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
No, Miss
Oh.
Wilbur.
Got it.
Similar names. Maybe I stumbled, but I'm trying to get Miss Wilbur in. We got Miss Wilburn in. She drew the short straw today.
Well.
At least you didn't have to drive here. Good morning. Are you Amy Wilbur?
Yes, I am.
Good morning. This is Judge Middleton. I'm at the court in Centerville. Thank you for zooming in. Also with us is Ms. Jen Wilburn from Aaron Cox's firm, representing the townhouses. The manager's not here. They want you to move. They have filed what's called a termination of tenancy. They served a notice to quit to you on September 16th. As a defendant in a landlord-tenant proceeding, you have certain rights, and I'm going to tell you about those now. As a defendant in a landlord-tenant proceeding, including a termination of tenancy action, which is what this is, you have the right to obtain counsel for representation in this matter. If you cannot afford an attorney, a legal aid attorney may be available to help you, and I did send you that information on how to contact legal aid. You have the right to a trial by a jury or by the court. If the action is for non-payment of rent, we would be taking a different direction, but this is called a termination of tenancy. If the plaintiff is agreeable, the Citizens Mediation Services, Inc. may be available as a possible source of case resolution. And if the parties are interested, the court can help set that up. If you do reach an agreement with the plaintiff and a consent judgment is entered by the court, you would waive the rights listed above, but have the following additional rights. The judgment could not be enforced until 3 business days had passed. You could move to set aside the judgment within those 3 days if you misunderstood what you consented to or what you were waiving. In which case you could ask for a hearing before the court, but if the judge did not grant what you requested at the hearing, the original judgment would stand. Now, it's a little bit unclear to me, but the notice to quit says that you have failed to recertify, and it lists other multiple lease violations. Who else lives there with you at this unit?
Also, my daughter that's 19, she's right here. She's on the lease. And then my other 4 kids, my daughter Liliana, my daughter Isabel, my son Miguel, and my daughter Marisol.
All right, so you got you and 5 children.
Yes.
All right, the notice to quit says that you failed to recertify, and there are other, refers to as multiple lease violations. Ms. Wilburn, do you have any more information regarding that?
Yes, I do, sir.
No. The problem is your names are very similar. It's Miss Wilbur and Miss Wilburn. So if Mr. Cox was here, we wouldn't have this problem, but he's got an associate from his office. So at this point, I'm asking for Jen, she's got Wilburn, to give us a little more information.
Yep, there were, the appropriate 30, 60, and 90-day notices sent out for recertification. As far as the other lease violations, one of the violations was in September of this year, for storage on a patio area, which is in a common area, which is in violation of the lease. And then there's a photo attached to that. And then there was an incident that necessitated police presence, and I believe that one is listed in the notice to quit.
Yeah, 61525422 complaint number.
Correct.
At any rate, Miss Amy Wilbur, this is a tough circumstance. They want you to move, and if you get evicted, it's going to be very difficult for you to get back into subsidized housing. What is your rent currently?
I did do my recertification. It was completed. It went back to 0, which I know it's not 0 because I get a utility allowance and they take so much of that to go towards the rent. So I'm not, and they don't disclose that amount to us. So I'm not 100% sure.
All right, well, at this point, your rent is 0. You've got 5 kids and they want to kick you out for failing to recertify, but you claim you have recertified. I don't know why you didn't do a 30, 60, or 90 days. And other violations, improper storage, and this police incident. I'm not sure what that's about. So the law says we have to adjourn this for 7 days. And I'm gonna adjourn this for you to try to talk to legal aid or get some other help or prepare to move. But this is serious business. They're asking you to terminate your tenancy, and in a subsidized unit when your rent is 0, you'll be standing out on the street with your 5 kids and you'll be unable to get any other rental because of the eviction. So it's a tough spot. Now they've got 20 people waiting for this unit. They've got a substantial waiting list. So I don't know exactly what all the allegations are. And the manager's not here. She usually does show up. When did you do your recertification?
The 9th month, what is that, September? In September, it was completed. And if I may be able to address a couple of the situations, I would appreciate it.
Well, today's not the day for that. That'll be for next week.
Okay.
I'm going to continue this to 10:40. December 16th, that's next Friday. If they get what they ask for, you'd be subject to being evicted on or about the day after Christmas, December 26th. Now, that's not a foregone conclusion. There's 2 sides to every story, but their contention is you failed to recertify, and your contention is you did recertify. They filed this action on October 18th. So they're saying you had not recertified as of October 18th. And then there are these other violations, safety hazards, destruction of property, involved in activity that brought a police presence, and other issues. So there's a lot going on here. So I would recommend that you try to get some legal advice or be in contact with the manager. Jen Wilburn, what do you know about the fact that she says she's recertified?
I do not have any information as to that. I will talk to the manager in the meantime. And I guess, Ms. Wilbur, I would inquire, is your plan to move? If so, I can talk to the manager about a move out date that may be beyond those 10 days the judge was talking about.
I am looking for somewhere, but it is very, very difficult. Like there is nowhere to rent. Like I've been looking, and was going to move in with my daughter's father. He said he would rent another place, move out of where he's living, and that we could rent together.
Okay,
But-
why don't we do this? There should be, so I don't want to have you give your phone number over YouTube. There should be a 734 number on your paperwork. Call.
I can put you in a breakout room and let you discuss it.
Yeah, if we could do that, if I could just get her phone number and then I can talk to the manager and be in contact with her after. And if we can work something out, it was December 16th at 10:40, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Now, Amy, what
Yeah.
she's talking about, if they go through this process and you get evicted, it's going to make it very difficult, if not impossible, for you to get in other subsidized housing. They could agree to work on an agreement called a conditional order of dismissal, where they would agree that you would move out probably sometime in January. And if you voluntarily move, they would dismiss the case. Then it wouldn't show up on your record. But what you're telling me, people tell me every day. I have landlord tenant hearings on Mondays and Fridays. And about 50 times a month, somebody tells me I would move if I had someplace to move to. There's not enough housing. And as I indicated, there's people waiting for your unit. They have a waiting list, and every apartment in the county has a waiting list. So I'm going to put you in a separate room called a breakout room with Attorney Wilburn, and you guys can discuss some of those issues, exchange phone numbers and information. So if you did agree to move voluntarily, and I'm not trying to tell you you have to do this, it's just an option. It could end up giving you some additional time to move, and it could keep this off your record. But you're not going to find another 3-bedroom apartment or 2-bedroom apartment with 0 rent. But let me open the breakout room, and you click on it. And I agree with Attorney Wilburn. We don't put people's personal information out over the internet or the YouTube feed. But you guys can talk privately in this space. And then if you need further assistance from me, just come back in.
I was going to say, I think we may be done after that. If there's a need
if
to
you're
come.
done, then just hang up.
Very good. Thank you,
All
Judge.
right, I'll see you or someone from your firm next Friday at 10:40.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you.